Aaron Rodgers has proven himself to be the NFL's greatest enigma. Through the years, his actions and words have had all types of reactions, ranging from head-scratching to hilarious to, I don't know, he's just a downright weird guy. And I'm sure he wouldn't want to be described in any other way. So in this video, we're going through 41 different times where Aaron Rodgers proved he was the weirdest player in the NFL. We begin with the days leading up to the 2005 NFL Draft, where Rodgers swears that he and his buddy saw a UFO in New York City. Years later, Rodgers had established himself as a quality NFL quarterback, and with that came the establishment of a Packers pretend fraternity called TKE. Turns out a Packers ball boy actually belonged to that frat. He overheard Rodgers talking about it and invited him to a college mixer. For some reason, Rodgers accepted the invite and showed up to the party. Around this time in his career, he picked Brett Good as his training camp roommate. This wasn't your usual quarterback, wide receiver, chemistry building choice, as Good was a lawn snapper. Rodgers selected him for one reason, and that was so they could play guitar together at night. In 2011, Rodgers joked that if he wanted to pick up any sideline reporters, his first line of business would be to grow a very thick mustache. Although in another interview, he later admitted that one of the laws of the universe is to not be a full-time stash wearer if under the age of 30 and not married. In 2013, he once stopped practice as a plane flew by overhead and asked a teammate if he thought airplane jet streams are why everyone is getting cancer. In 2014, he started dating actress Olivia Munn. Soon after that, he stopped speaking to his family. That year, after a win over the Vikings, Rodgers brought a grape purple crush soda to a press conference. After some people drew up the connection, Rodgers called them all idiots, saying he had been drinking Purple Crush after games for 7 years. In 2015, on 420, he unleashed a bunch of weird jokes on Twitter. It was reported around this time that he constantly quotes The Princess Bride around teammates. He would also sometimes stare down teammates angrily until they expressed concern, then he would finally laugh. And he used to search the internet to find unfavorable images of his teammates and award the worst pictures with a designated Man of the Week selection. Also, he once turned a team meeting into a slideshow for the best commercials of the year. Around this time is when Rodgers became a little too good at karaoke. He would invite his teammates over and show them up on a machine that rated each singer. In 2016, he appeared on a podcast called You Made It Weird, where he discussed reincarnation, love, and of course, UFOs. By this time, Brett Hundley was now his backup, and those two apparently had plenty of discussions about UFOs. When you hear a backup say they're gonna take everything in from a starter, I guess Hundley took that to a whole new level. It's also been said that in quarterback meetings, Rodgers not only quizzes the room on game opponents, but also weird random trivia. In 2017, after breaking up with Olivia Munn, he reportedly hired Ryan Gosling's personal stylist to help him with his outfits. Next, after a win in 2018, he weirdly developed a bit of a southern accent in a post-game interview.
I went in the locker room, did all the tests, and then I was in our indoor facility trying to get it loosened up.
In 2019, he randomly appeared in an episode of Game of Thrones during that terrible final season. That year, he also dressed up as Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. And he appeared in this bizarre video with new girlfriend Danica Patrick.
I think you're the prettiest girl in the world.
No, you are.
Who he apparently first hit on at a bar using Dumb and Dumber movie lines. While we're on the topic of Danica, I should mention that she believes crystals have healing powers. In 2020, Rodgers left her for actress Shailene Woodley after Danica apparently introduced him to her. If you're looking for a theme, then once again it's crystals. Woodley uses special crystals that she believes make her smell good, although rumor has it that she's one of the worst smelling actresses in Hollywood. No matter what, it's clear Rodgers falls for the Crystal Girls. Moving on, in 2020, he referred to his relationship with Matt LaFleur as #FriendGoals, which was a big upgrade over Mike McCarthy, who Rodgers had pretty much thrown under the bus. In October that year, he decided to break out the Key and Peele Hingle McCringleberry celebration out of nowhere. That season, he proposed to his crystal-scented girlfriend and broke the news during his MVP speech. In the offseason, he did an Ayurvedic cleanse, which is not recommended by doctors as the risks outweigh the benefits. But if you're wondering, it's where you drink warm ghee in the morning and laxatives at night. There's some therapeutic vomiting and excretion of said elements. Anyway, that same offseason, Rodgers became a Jeopardy guest host. With rumors of his future with the Packers and even football in the news cycle, he comes out and says he wants to play football and host Jeopardy at the same time. In May, news broke that the Packers releasing journeyman receiver Jake Kumerow before the previous season was the death knell in the relationship between Rodgers and the Packers front office. This was part of a multi-month tap dance between Rodgers and the team. During that time, while the Packers had begun OTAs, a video surfaced online of Rodgers in Hawaii awkwardly singing Taylor Swift. In July, he went on a video call wearing a passive-aggressive "I'm offended" shirt after Packers president Mark Murphy called him a complicated fella. 1 month later, the infamous immunized press conference took place, where Rodgers, after being asked if he was vaccinated, said,
Yeah, I've been immunized.
and referred to unvaccinated teammates as those guys. That offseason, he started growing out his hair so he could be John Wick for Halloween. In October, he became locked in history as a meme with this face during the Cardinals game. After news broke of Rodgers being unvaccinated in November, he came out and said that he consulted with podcaster Joe Rogan and decided to use the drug ivermectin as a treatment for COVID. That drug is supposed to be treated for parasites and certain skin conditions, not for COVID. He also strangely quoted Martin Luther King in defense of not wearing a mask during press conferences, saying he had a moral obligation to object to unjust rules. At that time, there was also controversy over Rodgers' sarcastic comments on his COVID toe. The Wall Street Journal published a piece on his COVID toe condition, and in response, Rodgers decided to whip out his toe during a press conference to show it was actually just an unrelated fracture. Although it does seem Rodgers didn't do enough research, as he also demanded an apology during that press conference from Molly Knight for writing the article. Knight did make a tweet poking fun at Rodgers, but didn't actually write the article. Later that season, when he appeared on the Manning cast during Monday Night Football, Peyton and Eli asked him what he was reading, and Rodgers pointed to a copy of the controversial book Atlas Shrugged. He had never even read the book before, but it seems he picked it on TV just to draw up more controversy about himself and to perhaps make a point about society overreacting to certain things.
Overreacting? You mean like making a video about 41 things this man has done?
Also, although one of Rodgers' favorite books is The Four Agreements, where it says to not take anything personally, apparently Rodgers has his friends alert him of public criticism so he can strike back if needed. Finally, our most recent weird happening comes with Rodgers once again taking on an Ayurvedic cleanse, and ending it with a cryptic Instagram post that he actually denies being cryptic. So that's all 41 times I could come up with. I'm sure next year we'll have about 10 more that we can update the video with, so be sure to stick around and subscribe.